Hi everyone, Calvin here. It has been a while since the last time I uploaded a video to YouTube. Today I'd like to talk about a list of questions that I was asked during my talk at Higher PhD a few days ago, as well as a few questions that I was asked through my LinkedIn by my subscribers. Most of these questions are about career choice and graduate school, PhD, etc. Let's dive into these questions without further ado. And the first question is, when did you come to the conclusion that you want to pursue IT as a career and what leads to it? This is a great question. As most of you already know, IT is booming these days. It's much easier to find a job in IT than in a biotech field, which is where I was specialized. And it leads to a secure job, which is what I was looking for then. And of course, there are a lot of growth opportunities in the IT field. To me, it looks like a wonderful career path to pursue. That's when I decided to pursue IT. Plus, I've been interested in IT, information technology, computer, network, etc. So I decided to pursue a career in IT. And the second question that I got was, what did the transition look like? Did you take any courses while doing PhD? I didn't take any courses while I was doing PhD, but I did learn programming. We are a consulting company. I learned more about project management, although I had some experience while joining the company. And I also learned about finance and basic programming, etc. The transition wasn't really hard as we were placed through a IT consulting company at my current company. And this IT consulting company trained us in programming, finance, communication, project management, etc. Of course, there was a steep learning curve, and there still is if I want to switch my role within IT. I myself didn't really take any courses during my PhD to prepare for this transition. This transition was quite short and sudden. The number 3 question that I got was, what were the biggest challenges? That's a really good question. I think the biggest challenge for me was not learning about programming, was not learning about project management or any other courses like finance. It was easy for me because I myself has this super curiosity and eager to learn new things, and it just came natural to me to pick those things up. I actually excelled at these trainings, and I was also nominated as one of the excellent training in the group. And that wasn't hard. That transition period wasn't really hard. The hardest part for me was convincing myself that this was and still is the right choice, because I have seen a lot of people who just stayed in academia because that's where they have been trained and always wanted to be in that field, even though the situation have changed, even though the job market have changed, even though they're not paid well living in the expensive cities like Toronto and Vancouver. And even nowadays, I still think this is the right choice. When I look back, I do that by comparing myself with the people who decided to stay in the lab, which I left. And when I look at them, they have high pressure to publish papers. And a lot of them, actually after 5 years, still don't have a single paper published in any journal. They're postdocs, they're in a huge pressure to get a tenure position, and that pressure probably comes from their family, their friends, their colleagues, and other parts of their environments, and it's huge. And then they have to work their ass off. They have to work 60 to 80 hours, even sometimes 100 hours a week, especially during the busiest time of the year when the project has to go like that fast. And that's tough. I myself really enjoy working hard as long as there's enough rewards for me. And I didn't find that reward when I was doing my postdoc. And that's one of the reasons I left. Number 4 is, did you experience sunk cost fallacy? If so, how did you overcome it? That's a really, really, really good question. I think I had that kind of doubt, and emotionally it haunts me still once in a while. But objectively speaking, I think I made the right choice, especially when I look at my financial aspect and the amount of workload every week, right? I don't have to work twice as hard as other people. I still get paid more than average people, let's say. I think I made the right choice. And keep in mind that postdocs are not paid as good as an average people, unless they got super good scholarship or grants, which is rare. And again, to overcome this kind of emotional challenge, I constantly compare myself with people who decided to stay in academia, and of course people who are comparable to me. I look at their current life and work, and I still feel like I made the right choice. For me personally, the next big question is, how am I going to leverage my non-IT experience in my IT field, and what's my next career move? It really depends on a lot of things going to happen and have been happening at my work. I recently got a promotion. Let's see how frequently I would get my promotions, and if I'm promoted quickly, and I would stay in the current field and current company, right? I have huge eager to learn and keep growing my career and profession. And question number 5 is, did you shadow prior to making the switch? Well, short answer is no. I didn't have a chance to shadow anything before the switch. To be honest, I just jumped right in. I didn't have any idea what I was going to be. It's like Amazon forest. You just jump in and you don't know how to survive, and you just struggle to survive. Now I think I'm surviving. Not only just surviving, I'm thriving. And I just followed my gut feelings. It's sometimes really hard to consciously think about questions and make really logical decisions, because most of our decisions are not logical, and a lot of them are really emotional. And I think I made the right choice. At least so far, I think so. The next question that I got was, is the career different from what you expected? Yes, totally. It is different from what I expected. And truth to be told, I have no idea what my career is going to be in my next 10 to 20 years in the future. And I'm still trying to figure them out. But one thing for sure is that never stop learning and growing. And the results shouldn't be too bad. Not even bad, should be pretty good. And the number 7 question is, what are your favorite parts of the job? That's good. That's a good question. I think that my favorite part of the job is the work-life balance. I have a huge amount of time outside work to pursue my hobbies, such as creating YouTube videos and taking pictures and photography, reading more books, learning about finance and trading stocks, etc. If I was working as a postdoc, I wouldn't have so much time to pursue these kind of wonderful things. And I'm sure about that because I worked as a postdoc for 5 months, and my PhD was as crazy busy as my postdoc was. And then another part I really liked about my current job is the pay. Pay is really good and competitive within the industry. And if you compare it across other industries, it's also pretty good. The third thing I really liked about my company and this industry is that, especially my company, is people-oriented culture, nice colleagues, they understand you, they support you, they're encouraging, super good. And then the last question I remember I was asked during my talk was that, do I regret doing my PhD? Thinking about the fact that I'm currently working in an IT field. My PhD was in neuroscience, and now I'm in the IT field. I think my PhD experience was great. Learning how to analyze data, learning analytical thinking, and creating hypotheses and testing hypotheses with experiments and data. It was a great experience. I think I expanded the knowledge boundary of the human society a little bit. Teeny tiny, not a lot, a little bit. By publishing several papers, I believe so far I have published about 7 papers. Some of them are co-authors, 4 first author papers, and there's one more about to be published as a co-author. It's all adding on to the cumulative knowledge of human being. From that sense, it was great. It was a great experience for me personally. But thinking that I am an IT manager right now, did my PhD experience help me? It did, but not as much as it would if I pursue an academic career or biotechnology career, which is hard to find, or which is hard to grow and build on. So I'm still glad that I did my PhD. Do I regret? A little bit, teeny tiny, not a lot. If I go back in time with my current knowledge, what do? I would definitely choose a different career path. That doesn't mean that I regret a lot about doing my PhD. It happened, and I just accept it, right? I don't regret a lot about that. With my current knowledge, with what I know, what I learned over the years, if I go back in time, let's say 2012, when I decide to pursue PhD or not, I would most likely not going to pursue a PhD in neuroscience or other biotechnology field. Instead, I probably will jump into finance or IT directly, right? IT is great. And if I did my PhD in IT, I would be, of course, much better. Of course, I can't go back and change that. A lot of people, when they look back in their life, most people regret they didn't do something, they made the wrong choice, etc. But at the end of the day, life probably is about experience from the beginning to the end. Then a different experience does count. And it, of course, really up to what you want to be, what you want to do with your life, right? With my life, I want to be healthy, happy, wealthy. That's what I want with my life. I want to have a happy and healthy family, and I want to support them. That's what I want. There are a lot more questions I was asked during my talk at Higher PhD, but I'm not going to talk all of them. Basically, there are some overlaps, and I think I already covered 80% of it in this video. And if you have any question about my career path or your career path, career choice, please feel free to leave your comments below and ask questions. I'll try my best to answer your questions. And let's see. Good luck with your career. Thank you so much. Don't forget to click the like button below and smash the subscribe button if you haven't. As always, I will see you next time.